behind him, and unfortunately, you know, he yielded to it. So he was very conscious.
So
and
what application can you make with that for us now?
The application I would make, that deception is always a bad thing. Okay. And it will come back and haunt you.
Okay.
All right? And not only you, but a lot of people we saw what happened to him, even with his uncle.
Yeah.
Again, he got a taste of his own deception, and I guess it's a warning to me and others.
Okay.
To be genuine and to be true.
Right. Thank you much. So, Sister Marlene, was a question answered? Birthright and blessing? Yes. Mm-hmm.
It appears to me that both Isaac and it was Rebecca,
yeah,
would have known that Jacob would rule. But the father did not accept that because he loved Esau more than he loved Jacob, although he knew what God's plan was. Okay. And it's the mother who understood God's plan. Okay? She might have gone along in the wrong way, but she was the one who believed and accepted it on the man. Amen.
Okay. Brother Sadi, you have a point to make?
I just want to answer the question that was asked.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference between the birthright and the blessing.
Yeah.
If you study Old Testament culture, the firstborn son inherited all of the property, physical and spiritually was that is what he inherited. The main question that comes out of the lesson is the question of choice that we make.
Yeah.
And that is what makes the story sound as it is. But there's no difference because Esau as firstborn, based on the culture in Israel, once you are firstborn, all of the property, you are priest in the home, and everybody is subservient to you. In the lesson of Jacob and Esau, all we see is the consequence of the choices that we make. And to me today, if I make a bad choice, a bad decision based on whatever choice I make, then there are certain consequences for good or bad that will follow.
Let me ask a question. It's a bit off the lesson, right? Study the mic there for me. Let me just ask a question. Well, we saw what Jacob did, right? And then he would have gone to Joseph, the 11th, as opposed to all the above him. So how does that whole aspect of what we're talking about here, the birthright and so on, that Jacob would have gone to Joseph as opposed to who should have gone first in getting that, Reuben?
Again, all is choice, because when it was said before, right, okay, God had a certain plan that is through Abraham. Again, you see the concept, if you go deep in Genesis, you see concept of lineage, right? Abraham is supposed to come out to Isaac and what have you going down the road, right? Come to a certain lineage. In this case, we have a little twist. In all of it, we see, again, it's choice. It's choice. Wife is in bed. It's a question of choice. Everything that happens to us in life is about the choices that we make. It's not about God. God has a plan for my life. But every negative turn that takes place in my life is not because God doesn't have a plan for me, because the choices that I make as an individual in relationship to the plan that God has for me. And therefore, if I choose to listen to God leading me, will go in a certain direction. If not, I will make mistakes. And in this story, that's what we see. God had a plan. God would have worked out his plan anyway, because he says, as Valerie says, the younger will serve, the older will serve the younger.
Yeah.
God would have worked out his plan. But people decide to choose to do things differently. So it all comes to me.
And the consequences
will be as a result of the choices that we make.
You know, and as just up to the whole aspect of choices and consequences, the cornerstone lesson also talk to the aspect of choices. You know, and you're saying that we make choices and sometimes we don't understand that we're making choices. So for instance, well, I put on my outfit, I put on my dress, and I put on my pants, and I put on my shirt, and I come to church. You know, and it's a choice that I would have made. So since yesterday, I would not make a choice to say I got to iron this blue shirt for Saturday. Okay, you know, so the choices are made. You know, we just take things for granted. We take things for granted because it's come like second nature. So I'm doing this, but it's all that whole aspect of choice. And based upon our choices, the consequences are that. So one more before we have our early teen, just have a little overview of what the early teens lesson was like. One more. Dion, is Dion hand or behind you? Okay, person behind Dion. Nice. You had a hand up? Yeah, go ahead. Actually, make your point, and then we'll go behind. Go ahead. I didn't see the hand. Sorry.
I was actually going to say that in the story we see tradition versus God's plan. Traditionally, Esau would have gotten or should have gotten the birthright, but it was God's plan for Jacob to have it all along. And because of the decision, you could almost kind of see a Sarah and Abraham situation where Sarah tried to help God in a sense, and she gave Hagar to Abraham. So here you see in Rebecca trying to help God in devising this whole scheme and the ripple effects that it had throughout Jacob's history that went on to his children. And it kind of came full circle in the end where God went against tradition and blessed Jacob, and Jacob in turn went against tradition and blessed the half-tribes of Joseph.
Okay, thank you much, Sister Modest. The lady behind Richards, down in the back in the corner. Right, so this will be your final comment from our adult, and then we will go to our early teens.
Good morning, Church. I was going to actually say along the same lines as what the guy and the lady said. Because when from the beginning, God told Jacob and Esau's mother that the younger would serve the elder. And because of Esau's decision, Jacob got through. And then with Jacob and his still 12 children, the father told Reuben and his brothers that because of their actions and the things that they did, he cannot give the birthright unto them. Therefore, Joseph got the birthright that
Reuben should have had.
The elder one was supposed to get.
Okay, nice. So thank you, Brother Frederick. We'll just have to just think off today, right? So we're just happy that you were as engaged. And just remember that we all make choices. We all make choices. The Lord has a plan for us. His plan is that none be lost. That is his plan, that none be lost. But the choice that I make will determine whether I am saved or whether I am lost. So let's make the choice that will give us salvation. Sister Nia.
Good morning again, church. So I'm doing my classes lesson, the early teens lesson, and it's along the same lines of choices and God having a plan. So let me give you all a synopsis of the story for the Sabbath portion. So once there was an emperor in Asia, and he had his young sons, and he was ready to pass on the throne. But he decided he was going to open it up to everybody in the, let's say, community, right? So all the children had a fair chance at being the king. The way he went about this was giving everyone a seed and telling them, water your seed, and after a period of time, you'll come back with your plant, right? So everybody lined up by the kingdom, waiting to collect the seed. So everyone collected the seed, the young men collected their seed, and they went. So I will take care of my seed, you all take care of your seed, right? every day, every day. So, out of all the young men, there was a boy named Ling. And Ling got his seed, and he was real meticulous. Every morning, like you know in primary school with the paper and the red bean, and they grow that in a styrofoam cup, everybody do that, huh? Yeah, right. So similar to that, but this one, it have a bigger reward at the end, more than a plant. So he decided he real gonna take care of his mom, help him, and he was real every morning watering, making sure the seed gets sunlight. And he realized, well, yeah, he's taking good care, but when he bunks up the other friends now, they have big plants, and he have no plants. So he said, no way for any plant to grow. So we know what the other people was doing. We know what they was doing with their plant. So I think it really goes to show that sometimes we will see that what things not going good for us as Christians. I mean, we following Christ. Things supposed to be good for us. We supposed to be getting blessings. But sometimes for God's plan, as the lesson before just talked about, sometimes we don't see the things. But in Romans